Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Kaplan Learning for the North Carolina Real Estate 75-hour broker pre-licensing course. Let's get back into the course. So today, I'm pretty sure we're going to be covering Unit 4, which is awesome. It's not a really big unit, except when you get into methods of describing real estate. That's pretty hardcore heavy. So let's just get into the learning objectives, right? So unit 4 is, and sorry for my voice, I'm a little not like sick, but I'm getting over a sickness, and I still have some sore throat and whatnot. So if you see me going in and out coughing, just don't mind that. But Unit 4 is basically going to be covering property description, right? And it kind of sounds exactly like what the title is sounding like. When we've completed this unit, we'll be able to accomplish the following. Explain the importance of an accurate legal description and list those documents requiring legal description. Discuss the legally acceptable methods of property description, give examples and identify characteristics of each, describe the importance of a survey, calculate the area using various land measurements. These are some of that's not a lot of key terms. I like this. Okay, so learning objective. Explain the importance of an accurate legal description and list those documents. So let's start out with describing land. Okay. One of the essential elements of a valid deed is an accurate legal description of the land being conveyed. The real estate involved must be identifiable from the wording. What must be identifiable from the wording of the deed with reference to only the documents named in the deed. The courts have usually held that a description of land is legally sufficient if a competent surveyor can locate the real estate in question. Legal descriptions describe the land, but not the improvements that are appurtenant. Okay. So, legal description. I want to write this down. So, legal descriptions describe the land, but not the improvements. That are appurtenant and automatically run with the land. This means that all items attached to the land will convey in the deed with a legal description unless specifically excluded by contract, such as fixtures. A legal description is an exact way of describing real estate in a contract, deed, mortgage, or other document that will be accepted in the court of law. While street addresses are not sufficient legal descriptions, the legal description in a deed or mortgage may be followed by the words commonly known as the street address, right? Street address standing alone is referred to as an informal description of reference. A typical parcel of land has been conveyed and transferred many times in the past. The description of the land in a deed, mortgage, or any other instrument should be the same as that used in the previous instrument of conveyance. Okay? Got a Java update there. Discrepancies, error, and legal problems can be avoided or reduced if this practice is followed in drawing up subsequent conveyances. In practice, one of the most frequent causes of lawsuits against brokers is inaccurate monuments and lot lines. Buyers need to be confident that the property they are purchasing is in fact what they believe they are buying. Relying on old surveys is not a good idea, which is why agents should recommend that the buyer get a surveyor and a inspection. If they don't, they should sign saying, I don't want to get a land surveyor or inspection done or XYZ done. That way it adds protection to the broker. I feel like that's something that should be done. It might not be a legit thing, but I feel like I've heard about this before, so we'll find out later. So brokers should be very careful when stating the location of a boundary line. Brokers should encourage prospective buyers to hire just a land surveyor if they plan to install fences or add buildings to their property. Nice. Recent flooding in North Carolina points out the need to be sure that buyers are informed about whether the property is in a floodplain. That can also be determined in a survey. I'm going to do this quiz real quick. Okay, sounds good. Let's get straight to the next one. Discuss the legally acceptable methods of property descriptions, give examples, and identify the characteristics of each. So this is going to be a long one. There's going to be a lot of definitions here. Let me write this down. Method of describing real estate. So there are going to be 3 methods of describing real estate. The first one is meets and bounds. And then the second one is going to be the rectangular government survey. It's kind of a weird name. And then the third one would be reference to recorded plat, lot, and block. North Carolina also uses references to a publicly recorded document that contains a legal description. Methods of describing real estate. Right. So meets and bound boundary was the earliest form of legal description used in the United States and is still the primary method of describing a property in the original 13 colonies. It's considered the best to use for real estate contract and deeds in North Carolina. It makes use of the boundaries and measurements of the land in question. The description shows the boundaries of the parcel, where they meet. Such a description starts at a definitely designated place called the point of beginning, the POB. And proceeds around the track clockwise or counterclockwise by reference to linear measurements in compass directions, referred to as calls. Each call gives the distance, meet, and direction, bound. Each call begins with either north or south, the cardinal directions, then the number of degrees, east or west, using a surveyor compass. A meets and bound description always ends at the POB so that the tract being described has closure. I like that. In a meets and bound description, the actual distance between monuments takes precedence over any linear measurement set forth in the description if the two measurements differ. Monuments are fixed objects used to establish real estate boundaries. Natural objects such as stones, large trees, lakes, streams, as well as streets, highways, and markers placed by surveyors used as monuments. Measurements often include the words more or less. The location of monuments is more important than the distance stated in the wording. Problems are created in some instances when a monument has shifted and disappeared over the years. An example of a meets and bound description of a parcel of land, a tract of land located in blank, blank, described as follows. Beginning at the intersection of the east line of Jones Road, okay, and the south line of Skull Drive, okay, north 90 across the south line, 200 feet, south oh Huh. Wow, this is getting real. I'm seeing documents now. This is neat. I like this. I'm gonna watch this. This is gonna be copyright, so I'll be right back. Okay, so now going into the next part of the property description and methods of describing real estate. We have a rectangular survey system, right? So the rectangular survey system, sometimes called the government survey system, was established by Congress in 1785 to standardize the description of land acquired by newly formed by the newly formed federal government. Form of land description is not used by North Carolina or the other original British colonies. By dividing the land, the rectangle survey provided land description by describing the rectangles in the land where the land was located, which the land was. Okay, this is based on two sets of intersecting line, principal meridians and baselines. Principal meridian run north and south, baseline run east and west. Both are located by reference to degrees of longitude and latitude. Each principal meridian has a name or a number. It's crossed by a baseline. Each principal meridian and its corresponding baseline are used to survey a definite area of land. Huh. Strips parallel to the meridian. These north-south strips are called ranges. So these are the township lines. East to west parallel, 6 miles apart, and 6 miles apart. They form strips of land count township. Huh. Whoa. Whoa. So interesting. Hmm. Interesting. Okay. Third, legal is used references to recorded plat. It's a system uses lot and block numbers referred to as a plat or a subdivision, placed in the registry of deeds of the county where the land is located. This is the most common and worry-free method of describing property in urban areas. First step is subdividing the land in preparation of a plat map by a license. Hmm. This is a safe one for subdivisions. Is by reference to a publicly recorded document, usually an earlier deed to the identical property. This deed typically contains a legal description of the property that's to be conveyed. For example, if a deed dated September 17th, 1993 included the previous description of the reference to a recorded plat, a deed prepared 4 years later that conveyed the same property can incorporate the same description by referring to the previous deed. Deeds do not make reference to buildings on property. When filling in the blanks of a sales contract, a broker should exercise great care to ensure that a proper and accurate legal description is used. Never list the legal description as NA for not applicable. Because once recorded, it affects the title to real estate. Should only be prepared by a professional land surveyor or lawyer. Real estate brokers who attempt to draft legal descriptions can create potential risk for themselves and their client and the customer. And furthermore, when entered on a document of conveyance, such as a deed, legal description should be copied with care. For example, incorrectly worded legal description and says customer may obligate the seller to convey or the buyer to purchase more or less of the land than either one intended. Title problems can arise. So the buyer who seeks to convey property at a future date. Dang. The use of informal references in describing can often lead to legal problems, but informal references may be sufficient. Street address, for example, informal is used often in listing contracts and short-term rental agreements. Any contracts that convey real property interest always contain a legally acceptable description. All right, let me take this real quick. All right, we did that one. Let me do this one. All right, so that one was a little weird. You had to drag, but the dragging was like kind of broken, but it's okay. It worked. So now we're going to be going into describing the importance of a survey. Legal description should not be changed, altered, or combined without adequate information from a competent authority such as a surveyor or a title lawyer. Legal description should always include the name of the county and the state in which the land is located. Professional land surveyors trained and licensed to locate a given parcel of land and to determine its legal description. Surveyor does this by preparing a survey, which sets forth the legal descriptions of the property, and a survey sketch, which shows the location dimensions of the parcel. When a survey also shows the location, size, and shape of buildings located on the lot, it's referred to as a physical survey. A mortgage location survey or an identification survey. When a survey shows the lay of the land, such as where the hills and valleys are, it's called a topographic. Topo. Surveys are required in many real estate transactions, such as when conveying a portion of a given tract of land, conveying real estate as a security for a mortgage loan, showing the location of a new construction, locating roads and highways, determining legal description of the land which a particular building is located. When underwriting a real estate loan, the lender might require an up-to-date survey of the collateral property to make sure that there's no encroachments on the property, because an encroachment could render the title to the property unmarketable. Encroachments could cause boundary lines, easements, setbacks. Title insurance routinely excludes the coverage of title defects that would have been discovered by a survey. If a survey was not conducted. Here's an example of a survey. Where's the POB? I'm just gonna assume it's like right here or something. Maybe. But yes, I get that. Oh. Okay, let me take this. So many quizzes, jeez. Okay, next. Calculate the area using various land measurements. Yeah, let's go. Ooh, math. Okay, let me go back. All right, so let's do some math concepts. Area. I love area. Length times width. Most of these are pretty easy. It's just length times width, length times width. I mean, a square, right? And then a rectangle. Length times width, length times width. And then a triangle equals, it's base times height over 2. Yeah. To calculate it by yards, you do L times W over 9 equals square yards. Um, 1 acre equals 43,560 square feet. As a rule of thumb, the first number listed in the dimensions of the property is the front footage. The cost use the same unit in which the cost given. Costs quoted per square foot must be multiplied by the proper number of square feet. Cost quoted per acre must be multiplied by the number of acres, etc. To calculate the cost of a land over possible 3 acres, 110. Yeah, and then you would take 136, and that would be the cost of the land. You'd have to find out how many acres you have, or square feet per acre. Okay, let's go into the questions, and I will take this and be right back. Okay, dang, I'm already on the unit test? This is a really short unit. Okay. I guess let's get straight to the... I like this. I'm gonna print this out. Printer needs ink. No, it doesn't. It's a lie. All right, I'm gonna take this real quick, and I will be right back. So here, I want to kind of explain this right. So if we have a $25,000 per acre, right? And we have 21,780 square feet. What I would like to do is turn the square feet into acres, and then that'll help me figure out what the answer is. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take our acre, right? We take our square footage, 21,780, and put that over the acre. So let me do this right here. Number 8. So we do 21,780 and put that over 43,560, and that's going to give us 0.5. So it's going to give us 0.5 of an acre, right? And all we do is to take 25,000 and then you multiply that by 0.5. $25,000 per acre. So then we get 12.5. That's the answer for that. 12.5 grand. So this one right here, we're going to take our square feet and then convert it to acres. So this one's number 10. Basically take 175 times 685. And that's going to give us 175 times 685. That's going to give us 119,875 square. And then you take that and you divide that by a 1 acre, which is 42,560 square feet. And that will give you 2.751, which equals 2.75, which is C. So I don't remember them giving us a formula for cubic feet, but really, this is going to basically be length times width times height. That's how you get a cube, from what I remember. So let's try to see if we can answer this and see if I don't need to reference any material that I have. So let's do 80 times 120 times 14, right? 80 times 120 times 14. And that equals 134,400 square feet minus whatever they closed off. So that's going to equal 134,400 minus 1,200 equals 133,200. That's going to be my answer for this. We'll see at the end. And this one is basically a lot with, this is number 14. This has a depth of 80 feet and area of 4,800 square feet. What does the depth have to do? Oh. Oh, okay. This is an interesting question. I'm gonna reference my material on this. I'll be right back. Okay, so if we have the area, we'll use the formula backwards. Since we already know that we need to get the front footage. We have the area and we have the depth. So what we will do is take the 4,800 square feet divided by 80. And that's going to give us 60 feet of frontage. And then what we'll do is we'll take the 60 feet and multiply that by the $350 per foot. And that will give us $21,000. Okay, so that was Unit 4. Finished that. It was a relatively short video, I understand. I did add a couple of cuts to cut anything that was just any awkward pauses or anything like that, so it made the video a little bit shorter. That way you don't have to skip if you were watching. I appreciate whoever's watching this, and I hope you guys stay tuned in for the next episode where we will cover Unit 5, Transfer of Title to Real Property. We're almost halfway there. We're a quarter of the way there, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please like and comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye-bye.